Chavis Carter was found shot dead in the back of a police car. And the two arresting officers claimed that even though he was handcuffed with his hands behind his back, and even though they searched him twice and did not find a gun, they are saying that he somehow had a gun on him that was hidden, took the gun and shot and killed himself, that no one shot him. It was something that he did on his own.
So I'm a little torn on this story because they have cameras on the cop cars, so you would think that they would be able to look at the video and have a clear sense of what happened there. Because if the cops are really at the other car as they claim they are when you hear the gunshot, well, that'll be pretty clear. If the cops are not at the other car, but they're at their own cop car where Chavis Carter was when the gunshot is heard, well, that's also clear. Now, it might be that they parked the two cop cars next to one another or behind one another to block the camera, in which case that's really questionable, right? So now, I know you're going to tell me about the reenactment, right? Mm-hmm. But there's other aspects of this that are fascinating. So it turns out that there were three guys. We told you about that in the beginning, but we didn't know their races before. Turns out Chavis was the only one that was black. The two other white guys were immediately let go. Mm. And they were also local. There are other factors involved. They were locals. Chavis was not a local. And the other two guys threw him under the bus and said, oh, we only met that guy yesterday. Now, there was a warrant out on Chavis Carter. That is very relevant. Obviously, if there's a warrant out, they're going to go get him. Shooting him in the head is a whole different thing. We don't know if they did that, but obviously that's a totally separate situation. By the way, what was his warrant for? An incredibly minor drug offense that he didn't report something on. It wasn't even for the initial offense. It was that he didn't make a court appearance or something along those lines. So now the cops are going to try to say, hey, listen, he could have still shot himself with the handcuffs, so they got a new reenactment out.
They do have a reenactment, and the whole purpose of this reenactment is to prove that even if you are handcuffed behind your back, you still have the ability to reach for a gun and shoot yourself, okay? And they did so with a number of different people, indicating different body shapes and sizes, you know, to say that it doesn't matter what your size is, you can still do this. You don't have to be a contortionist or anything like that. So let's give you a little snippet of that reenactment right now.
So they're showing, look, here's a 5'8", 160-pound guy. We do the handcuffs on him, and he gets in the car, and then he's going to grab a gun, and you're going to see what he's going to do. Now, if this is true, by the way, maybe they should get better handcuffs. Second of all, this video actually, in some ways, goes, okay, I get it. So I guess you could do that, but at the same time, it makes me think, well, wait a minute. He might have shot himself accidentally, maybe trying to shoot his cuffs off, as I speculated the first time around. But kill himself when he just called his girlfriend and said, I'll see you at the jail. He's a young kid, 21 years old, no depression that anybody's ever heard of, that doesn't make any sense. I can understand if it was an accident. But for them to claim that he took the gun, and he's left-handed, by the way, put it to his right temples, which apparently he did, that's why they're doing this reenactment, and shot himself, that actually makes it seem less credible in some ways.
There are also a number of different things that kind of raise a red flag in this story, because first of all, that video reenactment makes the assumption that the gun was right there, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, he hid the gun somewhere where the police could not find it, right? Because they searched him twice and couldn't find it. I mean, in that reenactment, that gun was on the seat and the guy just casually grabbed it. And okay, so he was flexible enough to shoot himself in the head, right? So that's one assumption in that video that I'm uncomfortable with. Another thing that I found fascinating is Police Chief Michael Yates is the person who seems like he's defending the police officers, right? Now he's saying, oh, you know, there's a dash cam video and it seems to be, this is his exact quote. He says, eyewitness accounts and dash cam videos support the account given by the two police officers on the scene when Carter was killed, right? However, we haven't seen that dash cam video. None of this evidence has been released yet. We don't know anything yet. But when you look at Yates' past history, he had issues with the NAACP in Georgia. Apparently, when Barack Obama was elected, his police department was called on the scene when a group of black people were celebrating.
So
right?
Let me explain that in detail, because on the upside for Yates, he said at the moment that this happened, boy, this seems really implausible and weird. So there's some credibility there, as he doesn't try to cover up for the cops immediately and says, oh, we're going to have to try to get the bottom of this because this looks really weird, right? Now, and he has some supporters in the community who say, hey, wait, let's not judge too quickly here, etc. So now on the downside for Yates, there's two separate incidents here. One, he's in Georgia, and the NAACP say that he abused, the department abused black residents regularly. They got into such a conflict over that he was asked to leave. Then when he comes to Arkansas, President Obama wins the election, people go out to celebrate, somebody calls in and says, there's 200 black guys in the streets, I'm scared. So they send the cops. The cops, instead of saying, oh, well, President Obama won, people are obviously celebrating, it happened this night, it's the most logical thing you've ever seen in your life, they go, let's break this up. Yep. Okay? And the cops go in there, and by all accounts, they're the ones who started the conflict in the first place. They then arrest a whole bunch of citizens for, quote unquote, inciting a riot. Every witness on the scene says, what do you mean riot? We were just celebrating our democracy. That's all that was happening. They called it the Obama riot, and they accused somebody of, resisting arrest. And yeah, I'd be resisting arrest too if I was just celebrating, our democracy, and I get accused of being a rioter and get locked up, etc. So when you see Yates's background, you go, hey, you know what? It looks kind of fishy. So the jury's way out on this. We don't know. And we'll have to see for ourselves what the dash camera says. The FBI's on the case. We'll have to see what they say on this. But right now, actually, ironically, Yates's first statement is the one that's most true, which seems implausible and is a really weird set of circumstances. So they better do a real thorough investigation on this.
Right. And, the residents of that county are calling for a thorough investigation, and, there have been protests so far. So I do think that people are going to hold the police department accountable for this, and a thorough investigation will happen. And, of course, as soon as we get the details on that, we'll fill you guys in.